So, the Purge is stupid. I hate being right all the time, but I can't help it. Now let me be clear, because I used the word stupid to describe Star Trek Into Darkness as well. When I say stupid, I mean, like, the intelligence of the movie. I mean, like, the brains of the movie, if that makes any kind of sense. Inception is a very smart movie. The Purge is a stupid movie, if that gives you any kind of basis to go off of. The Purge is a movie that everyone's talking about because of its premise, being that what if for 12 hours out of the day all crime was legal? And everyone talks up a storm about that. Well, I'm trying to put this as simple as I can. The premise, as soon as people would hear that in the trailer, the rest of the trailer was white noise. They didn't, their minds zoomed in on that. I did not. I paid attention to what I saw in the trailer, and it looked like a home invasion movie. It looked like The Strangers. It looked like Straw Dogs. It looked like we'd been here before. So I've been bashing it quite a bit on Twitter because it just the premise alone is so stupid. It's doesn't make a lick of sense. And don't hit me with the fucking, like, oh, it's a movie, you're overthinking it too much. I'm sorry, there's a difference between thinking too much and thinking. I'm asking just very basic questions because The Purge insists that the movie insists that this movie is taking place in our universe, in our world, that it could conceivably happen. So of course I'm going to ask questions because am I just supposed to believe that because the movie told me? Like, is that the only reason? You have to think for yourselves, really. Again, there's a difference between thinking too much and thinking for yourself. I'm thinking for myself. I'm not overanalyzing jack shit. Just the most basic questions. And the whole premise of it falls apart. Like the trailers are like, oh, because of the Purge, unemployment rates have dropped to like 1%. How? How would allowing all crime to be legal drop unemployment rates? The movie doesn't answer that. In fact, there's a lot of things the movie doesn't do. It sets up this premise for you, which, need I remind you, I find stupid, but everyone else loves. It sets up the premise, and at about the 35-minute mark, forgets it entirely. There are so many different areas you could explore with that stupid premise. Instead, what it does, I mean, okay, you could I burn my boat, claim the insurance, and just claim insurance fraud on that and be rich for the rest of my life? Could bank managers walk right into their place of work and just walk right out with all the cash, all the money that people have? What about, is gay marriage legal? I would think a lot of people want to get married on that day because gay marriage is a thing now. And since this movie is set in our time frame, it's like 10 years in the future, 9 years, something like that. If it's set in our universe, gay marriage is a big thing right now. You would think maybe that kind of thing. What about pedophiling? Is that legal now too? Can people turn to kids or even their own kids and police officers? Well, these are all areas that the movie is too afraid to go to because that requires thinking. Instead, what it homes in on is murder. What if you could murder and get away with it scotch-free? Because apparently in this world, the only murder that exists is murder. There is absolutely no mention whatsoever of looting, stealing, not e-fraud, but I mean like computer hacking and stealing millions upon millions of dollars. In an economy that's dropping, people wouldn't kill each other, they would steal. They'd want to get loaded as quick as they could because the frustration, quote unquote, that the movie is talking about, that people are so weighted under, is not because of other people. It's because of the world we live in, because of the bills they have to deal with every single day, the financial situations, things like that. People would not kill; they would steal, and yet there is not a single mention of anything like that. The entire country in this movie just assumes that murder, that everyone's just going to murder, and apparently, and it's acting like all people are inherently evil. Like everyone would just do that. They would just just leap at the chance to kill and get away with it. But people are more complicated than that. People are not as simple as this movie wants it to be. But you have to have it be murder, because then you can't call it the Purge. If you made it about stealing, or if you made it more about poverty and things like that, well, you can't call it the Hunger Games because they already made that. That's essentially what this fucking movie is. It is too chicken shit to explore any kind of new areas. It doesn't do anything with its premise. All it does is it gives you one scene where Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey, I think that's how you say her name, his wife in the movie, are debating whether to throw you see in the trailers the guy that that get in their house. They're contemplating whether they throw him to the wolves or keep him inside and invite the wolves in. That's the closest that the movie gets to being any kind of thoughtful. But even then, it's undone, because the guy that they're talking about has zero characterization. I don't know shit about that. I don't even know his name. I literally don't know his name. They didn't say it once. I could sit here all day and not come up with it because they didn't say his name once. He doesn't have a name, no defined characteristics. He's basically just a reason for killers to come to the house. Which, again, we've seen before. It was The Strangers. It was Straw Dogs. We've seen this kind of shit before. And it's not even that it's not even a good home invasion movie either. It becomes incredibly lazy. They seriously, like, it goes for the cheapest kind of jump scares. There's literally a villain that pops out and says boo at one point. They do that thing where a character will walk in and they'll open a door or a cabinet door or something like that, and it blocks what's behind them, and then when they shut it, there's someone there that wasn't there before. They seriously do that. I think they do that like twice. And the villain is the villain. There's no real, I guess with all crimes legal, there's no clear-cut villain. But, I mean, the one that you see in the trailer, the one that's looking up at the camera with a stupid shit-eating grin, it is literally just a walking metaphor for what the movie's trying to say. It's so, like fisted down your throat that it's not clever at all. It's not. It's too on the nose about everything. Dread was way more clever than this. It was way more subtle, and I hate it. That's a weird thing to say because it's not a very thoughtful movie, but it says more because it's more subtle. It's about subtext. It's about suggesting that shit. It's not about shooting it up into a fucking firework in the sky. I'm not kidding you when I say that the first 5 minutes of the movie, there's a TV going on in the background, and there's a scientist who literally turns to you, the audience, and says why the Purge is good. Ugh. I hate being preached to. And that's what this felt like. Excuse me. The Purge felt like I was being preached to about the nature of people and blah, 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 blah. But it knows nothing about it. It was honestly like someone slept through the research part of their presentation project and then just like coasted it the day of and no, like, I can't tell if either the filmmakers were stupid or they assumed people would be stupid. I honestly can't tell. I honestly can't tell. But it's just a lazy, dreary, badly written experience. I didn't see the internship. I assume it's worse because white people humor. You know what? The Purge. Okay, if the Purge is the answer to our economy problems, why are third world countries so shitty? What about other countries like North Korea that hate us? Wouldn't the Purge be a perfect opportunity to invade us? I. Oh, at one point they make a point to mention that weapons are classified now based on how dangerous they are. Class 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. Okay. And then they say that, oh, this level of class weapons during the Purge is restricted. Well, if everything is legal during the Purge, what's the point of putting restrictions on firearms during the Purge? That literally defeats the purpose. It's not like there's any cops around to arrest you if you decide you want to carry like a damn minigun or something. All police and emergency assistance is shut off during the Purge. Fuck. Why is murder the only crime in this movie? I just don't. Could have done a lot of things with this. You could have had the basic film writing would seem to suggest that, okay, you make a movie where the rich, high and mighty devolve down into animalistic, like the bottom feeders, and then there's your main character. Maybe make the movie about the black guy. Have him be the bum with a heart of gold, or something like that. Basic, very simple, but I mean, simple and basic. Something you could easily tell a story about. Get characters in there. This has none of that. Or what if you can make it? You can make it about the black guy. What if he's running away from killers and during this purge, and he breaks into a house of even like crazier killers? That's a way more interesting movie. What if the family like has all this drama and shit going on in the first half of the movie, and then when the purge happens, you wind up with the tensions rising and rising, and then you get this family that wants to kill each other, and they start to maybe they contemplate about whether or not they should because it's legal now. That's a way more interesting idea than the shit does with this. But no, it just becomes a home invasion movie, just as predicted. The Purge is a fucking waste of time. Is it like the worst thing ever? Is it infuriating? No, but what irritates me is just how popular it's gonna be. I know this is the kind of movie where people will be told how to think and feel because it's being hammered into their head, and they'll think it's their idea, and they'll think, oh, it's really clever, rah rah rah. And it's not, you guys. It's not. The boyfriend character could have been cut out entirely. The black guy has. Tell me one thing about the black guy. Fuck the Purge.